Hi, my name is Natalie Jones, and I am currently a student at Grand Canyon University, and I am taking a class entitled Foundations of Secondary Education with an emphasis in STEM. And we have an activity that we're going to go over our dispositions. And so I just want to give you a little background about myself and jump into it. So, as I said, my name is Natalie Jones, and I'm currently a parent liaison for the wonderful DeKalb County School District outside of Atlanta, Georgia. As a parent liaison, I have a wonderful opportunity to work with parents, families, students, teachers, administrators. I work with everyone in the building. Another hat that I wear is that I am also a therapist. So during the day, I'm a parent liaison. During the evening, I am working as a therapist and I am a former pre K teacher. So, working as a parent liaison, it was noticed that I am able to reach the students well. And so there were a couple people who said, well, you already have your masters and things of that nature. And they were like, well, why aren't you in the classroom? And I was like, well, I kind of want to focus on counseling a little bit more. But then as I've gone through the last year and a half, I really came back to my first love, which was teaching. And so the program and the opportunity came up that the school district would pay for people who are employed in the school district to go back to school. And I kind of took it as a sign that, hey, you've got this opportunity, don't miss out again. So, as a future educator, I will be teaching in the subjects of middle grades through high science, and I am overjoyed at entering the classroom and being fully certified and licensed so that I can teach in the state of Georgia. So, as we were going over this exercise, we were giving several questions to answer. In particular, the first one was, what is the teacher's role in supporting learning, improving planning and practice, upholding professional expectations, and collaboratively advancing the profession? So, when we look at the dispositions, there are several that fit, but I think that educators should believe that all students are eligible to learn, are willing to learn, and that we should set realistic expectations for student success. And that involves us getting together with our colleagues, seeing where there are some shortfalls and what we can do to ensure that our students are achieving. In particular, I know that with my own child, I had to start in the process of looking into 504s and IEP plans, and I was actually helped by my coworkers when I talked to them. They were like, hey, you might need a little further assistance with your child. So I think that's just a great example of how teachers can support learning, how they can improve planning. Had they not saw that there was a need for my child, and they do this with others. My child could be left in an area where he was unable to cope with the everyday activities in class. So now that, as the teachers being professional, for myself, as an expectation would be that when there is a need, to acknowledge that need, to be there, to actively engage with our students, to actively engage with our parents, our co-workers, our admin. We are all a team, and that is how we develop these relationships that foster growth amongst our students. Yes, we can do all the testing in the world, but testing doesn't necessarily mean that the students are grasping the materials. There are some students who simply are terrified of taking tests, but when you're in the classroom working with them, they're able to do just fine. So I like to see that as a professional, we make sure that we are constantly planning and seeing and meeting the needs of our students. Because if we're not meeting the needs of our students and the families that we're serving, what are we really doing? So, so yeah, that's a very passionate area for me, if you can't tell. What dispositions do you currently possess that will make you a successful teacher? What disposition do you need to work on before you enter the classroom as a first year teacher? So again, I'm a little different. I am in the school system, and one of the things that I know that I do is that I like to demonstrate professional friendliness, being the warmth and caring and genuine person when I'm working with the students and the families and providing them the support. I just finished my first full year in the position that I am in, and I just see the needs that are in the school. So as I work, just making sure it can go a long way of just being kind. I actually have a best friend who's been in this field for 20 years, and I was telling her how frustrated I was. The students are bringing guns and things like that to school, and some of the things they say to me, I was appalled. And she said, well, the students come talk to you freely. I said, yeah, they just come in my room and they talk to me. And she said, so you have a level of trust and respect. And at first I didn't think about it as that, but there are ways that you can, for lack of a better word, bond with your students and let them know, hey, I am here to support you. I think the biggest thing for me was when the students came to me to let me know about the peer with the gun. So being a person that the students feel that they can trust, that you actually show them that you genuinely care, that you're not destroying their character, their moral fiber, just everything about them. I don't want to be that type of teacher. I want to be the teacher that is not feared. I grew up where I feared my teachers. I even had one teacher, but I love her to death, Miss Pontu Lewis, who in fifth grade taught me how to defend myself. I want to be the teacher that when things are going wrong in the classroom, that we're able to come to a responsible decision as to what's going on. I got bullied by my peers, and I had a few teachers that actually said, you don't have to sit there and take that. You need to speak up for yourself, and you need to understand, young lady, that I won't always be here to protect you. So you have to learn these skills and to protect yourself. Um, what's something that I need to work on? I would say um, I would need to work on listening skills a little bit because I do have a habit, and sometimes I go into therapist mode, and I ask a lot of questions, and sometimes I might need to listen a little more, versus having my preset list of questions that I'm going to go through when I'm working with the students and the families. Making sure that I turn things off and that I'm not that I'm giving the students the respect that they deserve. And I don't want to say I'll over talk a student, but I want it to be clear that, hey, I'm trying to solve your problem, and if they get rowdy and they start cussing me or something of that, I'm one that I probably would need to work on that area of, hey, you're being disrespectful, come again, and watching my face. I've been told, the kids tell me they can tell when I'm upset, because my eyes, they say your eyes go pop, and they say they can tell. I'm a very gentle spirit, but they say when your eyes go, we know that you mean business. What effect could personal biases have on teaching and learning according to the expectations of the profession? How should biases be taken into perspective? So, me being a Black educator, I sometimes get leery when consultants come in the room. I will be working with a population that looks like me. And in previous settings, I had a consultant come tell me those students don't need to learn that. Now, I worked with those students for the entire year. I knew who could do what and who couldn't do what. So I tailored my lessons according to um, what my students where they were at. I had four different groups and it worked beautifully. And the consultant came in and she told me, I don't like your ways. And I had a hard time, and I still kind of have a hard time when someone comes to critique my work when I am in the classroom working with those students, working with my peers, and then someone comes and they just destroy everything that's been worked on, and they know nothing about my students, they know nothing about my coworkers, they know nothing about my job, but they can come tell me what to do. That is a personal bias that I will have to work on, and I've been told by the powers to be that sometimes you get that information and you have to let it go through one ear and out the other ear because you're getting for me, I'm getting the results that we need. So I can get feedback, but making sure that I choose about this feedback, and I'm tailoring it to the needs of who I'm serving. So I'm trying hard to not have a bias against people coming to critique me. That's a kind of soft spot for me, and I know that once I start student teaching, that I will have people coming in to critique me, and I don't want to get put in a position where I am working with the students and someone is telling me you shouldn't be teaching that, you shouldn't be doing that, when as an educator, sometimes lessons evolve from the students. I work predominantly in an international area. And so we have a lot of ESOL students. And one of the things that, came up that was so beautiful was that I had students from Africa, different places in the Middle East. Some kids, they were second generation here, and no, first generation born here, and we got to talking, and what was a common thread amongst all of us was that we all ate different types of rice and called them different things, and samosas. We all were laughing about samosas because some people called them sambusa. Some said, "Hey, where I'm at, ours are meat filled," and then the other kids, well, here, we don't put meat in ours, and we fill them with potatoes and lentils. And then I was here and I was like, well, as close to what we have to your sambusas and your samosas would be a hot pocket. But we had these conversations where um I had children who were Muslim, and then some were Christian, and my Muslim kids who were looking at the different ones from Africa, and then we have a lot from Afghanistan at the school that I work at, and they were like, wait a minute, you understand me? And it was one of those things that it would not have came out that the kids could communicate speaking Arabic. I don't, and I'm working in an elementary school, so they didn't realize the different similarities that they had there. So having people say you can't do that, you can't teach that, or you need to be on this, you need to be on this. I just want it to be where I understand what we're supposed to be teaching, and that I'm respected enough to have the knowledge to educate the students to ensure that they are learning what they need to learn, and that if it is something that comes up that they need to discuss, that they understand that this is a safe place. I do not want to keep the bias against the different consultants and the people who give me feedback. Um, I I want to work on that area, but I will continue to do the best that I can to my abilities and to educate the students in a way that is enriching, and it's developing their little minds and continuing to be someone that is there building trust with them, that they can come to and they can say, hey, Miss Natalie, Miss Jones, I didn't understand the material. Can you go back over this? Having them to come and feel comfortable. I want my students to feel comfortable with me. Reflecting on my own dispositions related to education, how will I uphold and adhere to academic and professional integrity as a teacher candidate and a future teacher? So I think it's pretty clear as to my expectations. But I think the biggest thing that I would say would be just being an honest teacher. Um, Here in Georgia, we it's very interesting the climate we're in, but I want to be that honest teacher to ensure that, hey, you're failing. What are we going to do about that? That we work together as a team to let the students know it's not always going to be easy as they move forward in education, but you stick with it. I got you. I have your back. I just wanted to be honest and to show and to again demonstrate that I am that person that's going to show that professional friendliness, that warmth, that genuine care about them. Um, I want to ensure that, the students and the parents and my administrators understand that I am committed. I don't take this change in careers lightly. I've still been finding myself in the classrooms teaching different things, and it made no sense for me not to go ahead and get the certification, so that when I'm pulled and I'm asked, well, Miss Natalie, can you do this? Can you do that? That the parents are having someone that is actually certified, and that I have all the rights to teach their students. There were some issues that came up at the beginning of the school year where we have teachers that were subs, but they don't hold current teaching certificates. And so some parents were like, well, how is this person teaching my child and they don't have a current teaching certificate? So I want to make sure that I do things decent in order, and ensure that I'm just trying my best to be who I came to be, and that's an educator for the state of Georgia. Again, my name is Natalie Jones. I hope that you have a wonderful day